What's up everybody, David here, and today, instead of mixing and mastering or any of that, today I want to give you guys a tip for songwriting. This is a method or a trick that I use quite often in my songs. I hope it's not noticeable, but I do use it quite often, and that is simply taking something away just to put it back. Now, what do I mean by that? Obviously, it's great to have a song that just rolls through like a freight train. You have great transitions, everything flows really well. But what I like to do sometimes is take away an element just so that it has more impact when it finally comes back. For example, before a chorus, if I have the end of a guitar riff, you might normally use a drum fill to go into the chorus. For example, I might just take away the drums and have just the guitars, so when the chorus kicks in, when all the drums come in together, it sounds bigger and it creates a much larger impact. I might do it with bass. I might take out the guitars and just do a drum fill. The point is to take out a single element just so that when you put it back, it creates more of an impact. And this can be used across every single genre. It doesn't matter what genre it is, it always works. But in metal, this is specifically great because metal is usually 110% all the time. It's always in your face and everything is always balls to the wall. So when you take something out, the listener immediately notices. And when you put it back in, once again, they notice and it feels like much larger of an impact. When you take something out, it feels like something is missing. So when you put it back in, all is right with the world and everything is just larger than life at that point. Now, I'm gonna give you guys a couple of examples on how I've used this technique before. The first one is in my band Guilty by Design's song, Knife in Your Back. So there's a moment before the chorus where instead of trying to think of a certain guitar lick to transition into the chorus, I just simply took out all the guitars and it's just a drum fill. The only thing happening is a drum fill and it goes straight into the chorus, which, like I've mentioned, creates a lot of impact here. So check out that clip. Now, the second example is from another one of my band's songs. This is The End. Now, the interesting thing about this song is that the first and the second verse they are exactly the same. The same riff, they were the same drum patterns, but we wanted to do something to switch it up. So here's what the same section in the first verse sounds like. This is my time to Now, like I said, the second time around, we wanted to switch things up. So what we did was in that section, we had a completely different drum fill. And at the end of the fill, the drums stop. The guitars and everything stops, leaving just the vocals front and center. So the only thing playing is the vocals. And then for that second half of the verse, everything comes back in and it just sounds huge at that point. Let the record show you did this on your own. Your hunger is endless, nothing left for the weak. Pretty cool, right? And like I said, it's just a different drum fill and I simply took some things away and then I put them back, and that completely changed that second verse. Now we have my song Resurrect. This is my most recent song I uploaded to the channel, and I did this method multiple times in that song. So the first verse is really simple. You have some openly strummed chords, you have this tom fill kind of pattern, and then you have a very ambient guitar happening behind it, and it's a very wide spatial ambient type of sound. So as my transition into the first chorus, instead of doing a fill or another guitar lick or something, I just simply took everything out except for the ambient guitar. That's the only thing playing, and then the chorus comes in full force. Let's take a listen. Once again, super simple. I didn't have to do anything extra. I just took the lick that was already there, stopped the guitars, and just let it play, and then the chorus now sounds massive. Now, then comes the second chorus, and I wanted to do the same thing. I love the impact that I got in the first, but I wanted to do it even more now. I wanted a bigger impact the second time around. So, instead of cutting just one element, I cut all of them. There was a whole bar of just silence before that second chorus. Now obviously there's a simple choke on the drums, so you hear the ring of that choke, but other than that there's no instruments. It just goes silent for one measure. But when the chorus comes in, it sounds massive. Let's take a listen. Now this is the simplest form of taking something away and put it back, because instead of taking away just one element, I completely stopped all instruments. There's nothing playing for a whole bar, but when the chorus comes back in, it now sounds massive. So you really don't have to do much to create impact and an effect like this. Just simply take something away or take all of it away. Now this next example is another one from my band, but this one is not a completed song. This is a demo, and once again it happens before a chorus. So I wanted to create impact, and I wanted to do something differently than I did in the first chorus. So basically, there's a guitar riff going all the way through up to the chorus. That keeps going, but instead of thinking of a drum fill, I think I temporarily stopped the drums for about half a measure, and then there's a smaller fill before the chorus, but that lets the guitars shine. There's no bass, it's just guitars, and then a little fill comes in, and then the chorus. But once again, I simply just took away some elements, and then they all come back at once. So let's check it out. Oh, this song is called Unreality, by the way. Once again, it's a demo, but let's check it out. Now in that song, we probably could have come up with a drum fill to go all the way into that chorus, but I just kind of wanted to make it a little more dramatic, so I think that worked out well. And it's kind of a half and half thing, because we took something away, but there's a little drum fill before the chorus to kind of lead into it, but there's still a lot of impact there. Now there are some examples where you can do this and it can get kind of boring, and it's actually something I did in one of my songs. In my song Notorious, actually, there's a break before the chorus. I think it happens for a bar or so, but looking back on it now, there's not enough happening. There's too much of a break before the chorus. So basically the verse stops and all you hear is just a ride cymbal. I think the ride happens 4 times, and then the chorus comes in full force. Now, once again, like I said, looking back, this is a little boring to me. I feel like I should have put something else in there to kind of fill that space, because it's just kind of dead and there's nothing happening. So I do think there is a line where you can kind of take it too far and then things get a little boring, so definitely be mindful of that. But here's a clip of Notorious. So as you can see, all momentum stopped on that part, and that's specifically why I don't like it and why I think I could have done something differently, or maybe I shouldn't have done that at all, because it just completely killed the momentum and the vibe of that song. And I'm sure as a first-time listener, some people just might be sitting there going, okay, there was a verse, now what's happening? Everything is gone, and it just doesn't make a lot of sense. So just be mindful of that and make sure that if you're taking things out, you're not losing the momentum and the vibe of the song. So as you can see, I use this technique quite a bit. I don't use it in every single song, but it is very common in my writing. But every time I try to use it in a different way, in a different format, so that it doesn't sound overused and it doesn't get boring. But like I said, this is something you can use for any genre. I mainly use it in metal because that's my main style of writing, and I feel like, once again, metal is great for it because everything is 110%. So when you take something out, the listener notices, and when you put it back, they notice immediately, and it creates a lot of impact in the song. But of course, no matter what genre you're using, try it out, see what works for you, try some new versions of it. I know another version of this is like on the final chorus in a song, they'll have the chorus play out like normal, but there's no drums for the first half of the chorus, or the first couple bars, and then the drums come in, and it just sounds complete, and it sounds huge, and there's a lot of impact. So there's a lot of different ways that you could do this. Just make sure to experiment and try out what works for you and what you like the most. So that's where we're gonna end it for today, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Let me know if you use techniques like this, if this is new to you. If it is new, what do you think? And if it's new and you tried it, how did it go for you? Just let me know your thoughts down below. And also, if you have some extra songwriting tips you want to share with everyone else, throw them in the comments. Let's try to make this a discussion and just help everyone make their music as good as it can possibly be. On that note, don't forget to like and subscribe. There are new videos every single week, and you don't want to miss any content. Once again, thank you so much for watching. My name is David, and I will see you guys next time.